Jake and I both have 3 different budgets set, a $10, $100, and $1,000 budget. We're going to tell you what MTG cards we'd buy in November 2021 at those 3 budget levels.
That's right. We're just going to walk through some opinions. Nothing here is financial advice. Let's get into it. Highest level of gratitude to our patrons who power the channel through Patreon. Check out the Patreon link in the description to learn about monthly giveaways, VIP Discord access, and even our official playmat. Hello and welcome to the day.
Thank you for spending your time with us.
I'm Jake.
I'm Joel. Welcome back to another episode of Jake and Joel Are Magic. This is our November 2021 edition of what we are buying. We're going with 10, 100, 1,000 as our budget levels, and we're going to get into what each of us would buy at each of those. But before we get into it, if you like the video by the end of it, consider hitting that like button, hitting that dislike button. Whichever way you're feeling, it really helps us out.
Patreon's a great way to support the channel as well if you want to get involved on a deeper level. So one more time, nothing here is financial advice. We're giving you our opinions. Joel and I just got together. We were like, how would you spend $10? How would you spend 100? How would you spend 1,000?
We are going to make our picks here in the video for each of the levels, and we're going to track them. We won't have anything to look at as far as like gains or losses like that at the end of this episode, but in the end of future episodes, we will check in on those quote unquote purchases that we've made throughout the series and see how we've done with our picks.
I would spend $10 on picking up foil Praetors. This comes from the fact that a lot of people are finding these numbered Viserys Seers, these serialized Viserys Seers in the Phyrexian Praetor secret layers, which is going to compel people to open this product, which means there are going to be a lot more Praetors hitting the market than usual. You may have players that may have decided, I'm going to buy 1 copy of secret layer Praetors to open, and I'm going to keep 10 sealed. But now you might have people that are saying, well, I'm going to open more of those, and
right.
and then you're going to have more Praetors hitting the market. So for me, I've seen Shieldred hit as low as $10 for the foil. I would pick up Shieldred, but for anybody else in that market, I would look at those other singles as well.
Around $10 for any of them, pretty much, but pick up 1 for your $10 level.
Yeah, like obviously Elish Norn and Jitaxis or Jin-Gitaxis are higher up on the spectrum, so those are going to be around like the $20 range, so I would definitely snipe up Shieldred if you don't have a copy of that.
So for my $10 level in November, I have been messing around with that Wilhelt zombie deck, man. The Wilhelt zombie deck has been just making its rounds. Everybody's building a zombie tribal right now, arguing over who the best zombie commander is, etc. What I want to do is take $10 and put it into a reserved list enchantment that I found while I was exploring Wilhelt lists that I think is great, and it's reserve list. It's Breath Stealer's Crypt, a black, a blue, and 2 other for an enchantment that says if a player would draw a card, instead they draw a card and reveal it. If it's a creature card, that player discards it unless they pay 3 life. So for your opponents, keeping creatures in their hand as they draw them is going to cost 3 life. Now for you, because it is a symmetrical effect and it hits you, this is going to allow you to dump creatures into your graveyard because you know this is the plan. Obviously, the plan hits a little bit of a stumble when you run into like a Marin deck or some other graveyard deck, but I still think the card is really strong. It's an enchantment, it's reserve list, and it's only $10. This is what I would target this month with my $10.
I actually like this card. This is the first time that I've seen this card is when you sent it to me, and I do like the fact that you can build for it. You can build in such a way where you can pitch stuff to the yard. So yeah, pretty interesting card for sure. And reserve list, you know, that's always worth considering.
Can't go wrong.
All right, so my hypothetical $100 here would either be spent on, it would be spent on one of 2 things. Okay, so one of them would be a Commander Legends booster box, but that is if you don't have each of the enemy fetch lands that just came out of Modern Horizons 2. If you do have those, then I would definitely pick up a box of Commander Legends. These packs, these boxes were 24 packs, but the packs were very interesting. Most of them had 2 rares or more. Very crazy product. It was built for draft, and the draft experience is really interesting because you are drafting a commander draft. So it's a very interesting product that's not only fun to draft, but it has some very powerful cards like Jewel Lotus that we saw come out of it. Also Vampiric Tutor, Mana Drain, a host of other very powerful effects, including legends that are also in demand as well. But Yeah, I mean, those fetch lands, you can't go wrong with those either, and they're at a historic low right now because of Modern Horizons 2. I'm seeing Misty Rainforest for $25, and that is very, very low.
Yeah, we argued about how to approach this at this level because Jake had a caveat with the main pick that he would make for that month. I thought that we need to make our specific picks, but I like that because, you know, it's like you need to get the fetch lands right now. We've said that in multiple videos, shorts, streams. Now is the time to be buying these fetch lands that have just been released. They are at their lows. So I like that caveat of if you don't have those, go that way because you can get all of them for under $100. But if you do, go with the Commander Legends box.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there to buy, but that's definitely a box where, you know, you can find some really fun stuff.
Jake, I'm going to jump into my $100 section for November.
Let us know what you would do at $100. What would you do?
So Secret Lair signets, Dan Frazier's signets, have started arriving in people's hands. This is maybe the second wave. I feel like I was in the second wave because I've got mine on hand at this time.
I just got mine as well.
You did?
I was
okay,
in the second wave.
Yeah.
Mine came yesterday, literally yesterday. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So I know that some people had gotten them like 2 weeks ago. I know that some people in our Discord still haven't received theirs, which is a bummer. But them being in hands, in the majority of the people's hands that have ordered them, that means that there's a lot of those arcane signets floating around. Each one, if you're not familiar, came with an arcane signet, which is the 2-mana rock that taps for any mana in your colors in your commander's color identity. Old Border treatment, Dan Frazier art. Right now, these are in hands. I think you can get 5 of them for $20 each under that $100 umbrella. I'm seeing, Jake, completed listings. I'm looking at eBay right now as I'm speaking. There is a lot of like 15 of them all in the picture. Buy it now, $14 each. That is a pretty incredible price for this Old Border foil etched card. That's what I would do with my $100 budget, is buy like 5 of those for $20 or less. Obviously, I'll be targeting them between 10 and 20 and sniping up whatever I can closer to the bottom of that. But under $100, I think you could pick up 5 of them. Either just have them for all of your commander decks, or 2 or 3. Flip the others in a year or two, have a bunch of free arcane signets by Dan Frazier that are all foil etched in Old Border.
Yeah, I mean, why not, right? All right, so it's time to talk about that $1,000 tier. I have wanted to put this card into my collection for so long, and it is a moat, a copy of Moat. I've wanted to put it into my collection forever from Legends. At this point, the English version is way outside of my price range, but for the sake of this video, a near mint Italian Moat would cost $900 as of the filming of this video. I could buy one right now on eBay for $900. The way I would spend the other $100 would be an Expedition strip mine. What we've seen with Masterpieces Expeditions over the years, we have so many new variants and stuff like that it's really just like, I do want to go back to that pre-variant era and buy up, you know, the expeditions that I don't have. And Strip Mine is one of these cards that I've wanted to target for a while. Again, not financial advice. You could take that 100, spend it on a different expo. But for me, I would be buying Strip Mine, and then again, that near mint Italian Moat, which is just that beautiful enchantment reserve list goodness all the way back from Legends. That is what I would spend my $1,000 on if I had $1,000 to spend right now in Magic the Gathering. Joel, what would you spend your 1K on in Magic?
All right, so I'm going to aim at reserve list with this. I think if I'm spending a lot of money on MTG, I want to sink it into stuff that's not high likelihood of getting reprinted, I'll say. I don't think it's 100%, but we're hoping. The weather's turning colder, where everything's getting a little icier, a little colder, so I'm going to turn my eyes toward blue cards in Commander, and I'm going to stock up on 3 excellent or fun blue cards for Commander, and I'm going to buy 2 copies of each of them, so go with me on this. I'm going to buy 2 copies of Gilded Drake at $300 each, so that's $600. I'm going to buy 2 copies of Treachery. Those are about $80 each, so I'm going to spend $160 on 2 copies of Treachery. And then I'm going to get 2 copies of Ramses Overdark, which is one of the legends from Legends, about $120 each, so that's about $240, so that's my total $1,000. Ramses Overdark is a blue and black legend that taps to destroy target enchanted creature. So if any creatures on the battlefield are ever aura enchanted or enchanted with anything else, I guess, Ramses Overdark can tap to destroy them. One of those fun legends from Legends. Now Treachery is a much more serious card. 5 mana enchant creature, along with the theme of Ramses Overdark. When it comes into play, you untap 5 lands and you control enchanted creature, straight up. Gilded Drake, this is my other one. This is one of the meanest cards, in my opinion, in the history of MTG. When it comes into play,
it's a brutal card, man.
Dude, it's so mean. And it's just, you're just like, oh, how long does it last? And if I kill Gilded Drake, nope, that doesn't matter. Whenever it comes into play, you exchange control of Gilded Drake for target creature one of your opponent's controls. In the constructed environment, in Standard that this came out in, probably pretty, you know, balanced to give them a 3/3 flyer,
medium, right?
But in Commander, to give them a 3/3 flyer and take any of their things for 2 mana is ridiculous. I feel like if I buy 2 copies of these each, sit on them for a while, eventually I'll be able to sell the extra copies, and then I'll be able to recoup and have a free Gilded Drake, a free copy of Treachery, and a free copy of Ramses Overdark. So I would go with a little blue Commander theme for my $1,000 in November, Jake.
Well, you've heard what we would do with the money. What would you do with the money?
That's really the big question. Go down there into the comments. Let us know what you would get at a budget of 10, a budget of 100, and a budget of 1,000. And if you've got any ideas for what you want to see in this series, we'd love to hear them because we want to develop this one alongside y'all.
That's right. We're going to get out of here for now so that we can go hypothetically speculate on what cards we would buy in the future and dream up amazing additions for our collections.